Geek out! LaserDicks, you sexy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of LaserDicks. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm Ken.
And today, we're talking about my birthday swag.
Way to take the party over to you.
Yep. We did your birthday last year and my birthday last year. So, now that it's been a year, we're doing my birthday again.
Has it been a year?
Yeah.
Oh.
A whole 12 months. So this year, I only got 3 LaserDiscs because it's a light year. Yeah, I didn't make a huge deal about my birthday, so like people were like, "Oh, I didn't get you anything," and I was like, "That's fine. It's not a big deal."
Well, we're going to New York, so maybe I'll get you something special.
Yeah, for my half birthday.
Ayy.
But so I did. That being said, I did get stuff. The first one we're going to talk about is from a man that you all might know. It is Mr. Samuel from the Geek Out Network. He's voice of many a podcast. He was just recently on my Friday the 13th sideshow. And he's a good guy. He got me Pierce Brosnan's classic Taffin. Classic. Like a fine wine.
Well, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I had never heard of it until we started doing Geek Out, and Sam and Jake kept making reference to this one line that appears in this movie that none of us have actually seen. We have not seen the movie. We've only ever seen the trailer. And there's a line where Pierce Brosnan yells at female lead Allison Doody when they're arguing about living in this little small town that this movie takes place in. And he just yells, "Then maybe you shouldn't be living here." And it's wonderful. I was showing Ken the trailer before we started recording, and he exploded into a fit of giggles, as he is wont to do.
Hey, don't tell people that.
But so I highly recommend checking out the trailer.
It's worth it. It's so
I haven't seen the movie itself, even though now I have it on LaserDisc, and I've had it for about a month now because my birthday was actually back in April. But the next LaserDisc that we're going to talk about was a little late, so that's why we decided to not do this episode in April. But just to go over some of the specs on Taffin. This particular one is 1 disc, 2 sides. It's in CLV quality, if you couldn't guess.
Wow.
It's about an hour and a half long. Oh, this movie's almost as old as I am.
Oh, jeez.
I think about as old as you. 1987?
Oh, I'm 88.
88.
So it's older than me.
Well, this LaserDisc was made in 1988, so there you go.
We're brothers. You can't even tell us apart.
I can't. But yeah, so apparently it's based on a book series, the Taffin book series, which is about just like a kind of a hired hand in this small Ireland town, Taffin being the hired hand who just goes on little thug missions for people who are willing to pay the right price.
I mean, that's putting it lightly. Like, that commercial was balls to the wall.
Dude, it basically it sounds like kind of similar to like the general idea of like the Jack Reacher movies or slash the Jack Reacher book series. Just kind of like a guy. I don't know if
a lone man.
I don't know if Taffin he has the special forces training that Jack Reacher does, but
he's just
guy that just he's the guy that takes care of business when you need business taken care of.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like I couldn't tell what he did for a living. Like, he was just hanging around most of the time or punching dudes.
Yeah. He roughs people up for you.
Oh, there you go.
He's like a roadhouse
house,
except he was a
roadhouse,
a bouncer. So, yeah.
I mean, I
don't remember his character's name because it definitely wasn't Roadhouse.
But I'm definitely down to see that movie with you guys because I mean that looked pretty.
I'm interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
The other guys, we had joked about watching it, but they had alluded and they'll probably correct me when they hear this because they listen to the episodes. But like they kind of alluded to the idea that like they didn't want to sully the dream of Taffin by actually watching it. And I understand that. I can respect that. But now that I have the Laserdisc, I kind of want to at least give it a whirl. Much like the Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia that is just sitting there staring at me, judging me. And if you listen to the catching up interview with the most recent one with Alex DeCampi, you'll see why it's judging me, because we've promised her, this is the 4th time she's been on the show, and we've promised her each time that we will watch Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. And I even bought it on Laserdisc just so we would. Still haven't touched it. Anyway, moving on.
Ooh.
Second Laserdisc. This one is from Jake. You'll know him as the third man in our three-wheeled car that is catching up.
Those exist, though, you know.
Yeah, I know. It was very popular on Mr. Bean.
Oh. Well, I haven't seen
It was
Mr.
a
Bean.
running gag on the TV show.
Well, I haven't seen Mr. Bean.
No,
So
I grew up on it. But Jacob, Jake, bought me. He got really obscure with this. He wanted to make sure that there was no. He wanted to get me a wrestling Laserdisc, but he wanted to make sure there was no way that I already had it. Which he could have bought any of them, and I wouldn't have had them because I don't have any wrestling Laserdiscs because they are few and far between and usually pretty expensive.
See, but now that's a challenge.
Yeah, well, if you want to get me one of the WWF Laserdiscs that go for like $500 on eBay, go for it. I mean, there might be one that's like 50, but I still feel like that's a bit much unless like you have a real strong tie to it. And I don't have a strong tie to the best of Hulk Hogan.
No.
Because I don't really care about Hulk Hogan. Take that,
Brother.
I wasn't watching wrestling when he was big. I watched him on Thunder in Paradise.
Oh.
and Commando.
Commando?
No, not Commando. Suburban Commando. With Christopher Lloyd, when Christopher Lloyd was frozen that day.
I was frozen. That's not from the Buckaroo Banzai and the Adventures in the Fifth Dimension?
Mm-mm.
I'm crazy then. That's what I've been saying the entire time.
Nope, it's from Suburban Commando.
Damn.
Anyway, now that we've been talking about this Laserdisc for 2 minutes and I haven't mentioned what it is.
What is it?
It is it's entitled The Legend of Tiger Mask. And is a Japanese Laserdisc about the Japanese masked wrestler Tiger Mask, who was so popular that he actually was the inspiration for the character King from the fighting video game series Tekken.
Yeah.
This gentleman was a masked wrestler in Japan, very popular. Unfortunately, I don't know very much about him specifically beyond the whole Tekken character, but very beloved, and it's got looks like it's got about 11 matches on here that are like kind of his highlight reel. And Ken earlier was using some of his is it kanji?
Well, kanji's the complicated characters. Those are written in katakana.
Katakana.
So it's all phonetics.
Yeah. So yeah, you were using your katakana knowledge to go through some of the matches. There's singles matches, tag matches. It talks about some of the other guys on here. What was some of the other names? Scorpion. Yeah.
Or like
hopefully he's the inspiration for the character Scorpion on Mortal Kombat, and he actually has a thing that comes out of his hand.
Konnichiwa. No. Why would you use that?
I don't know.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But no, what was the other one? There was like Dynamite.
Yeah, Dynamite Kid.
Yeah, Dynamite Kid.
Yeah.
That was another one.
Yeah, and it on the back, I'll let you read through that while I kind of talk about it a little bit. But on the back, it's got some stills from some of the matches.
Oh, wow.
He's got a couple Americans that he's fighting there. He's got this big statue that he's kissing. You able to get any of the other ones?
Well, actually, it looks like the chapters 9, 10, and 11 are all with Dynamite Kid.
Oh.
And
maybe they had
a WWF somehow.
Maybe they had a really good feud.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll remember to update you guys once I've watched it.
No, because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think there were some names in there that were like like a standard American name, so I'm thinking those might be those like American follies that how'd you say it? What was the word? The American villains.
Oh, the heels.
The heels.
Yeah, because something that was really popular in Japanese wrestling. Oh, to take it back, a little history lesson, if you will, from my memory, so I might be inaccurate, but basically around the time World War II happened, I believe, was when wrestling started, or shortly after World War II. There was some American occupation in Japan. The American soldiers brought over professional wrestling as entertainment, which they still do to this day. Like the USO hosts wrestling. The WWE themselves have their own thing where they, the tribute to the troops, where they go over and they do wrestling matches just for the troops in in various occupied states and stuff like that. World War II happens. America is occupying certain places in Japan. They bring over professional wrestling. The Japanese, because it's there, the Japanese peoples, they start to get into it themselves, and then they start to make their own promotions, and then they even get to the point where they're able to invite Americans over who, that they've been wrestling in America, they want to try something different, or maybe they were, part of the people wrestling in Japan to entertain the troops, they want to try something different there, so they're performing for these Japanese crowds, fully Japanese crowds, where naturally at the time they're seen kind of as the enemy, so it just is a natural thing to make them the heel.
Yeah.
So it's very fun for these guys. They might be playing the same characters that they are for the troops, where they're the good guy fighting against this Japanese wrestler who is the bad guy in the match, and then the next day they're fighting in front of this crowd of Japanese people, where they're the bad guy fighting against the good guy. And it could even be the same person that they're fighting against.
Exactly,
they do almost the exact same match, but they have this different dynamic because it's a different audience.
Exactly.
And so now it's gotten to the point where Japan has New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have a whole bunch of other ones, but New Japan is the big one. That's the WWE of Japan. It's gotten to the point where guys will run around, the indie places, like the place that we went for my birthday.
That's right.
The Nova Pro Wrestling, where it's guys probably fighting for enough money to pay for the gas to drive to the venue, and then make it back, and then they get free food in the back. They do that for a couple years, and then they go overseas and they make a name for themselves in New Japan. And they weren't able to catch a break here in America before, but now that they're getting heat over in New Japan or some of the other,
now that they're big in Japan,
exactly. Now that they're big in Japan, they're able to come back over and get sign with any of the big promotions here in America, like Ring of Honor or TNA or now Impact and WWE. That's what happened recently with this guy AJ Styles, who was huge in Ring of Honor, TNA, who are the small, big time, if you will, here in America. Then he goes over to Japan, becomes phenomenal, to steal his catchphrase, because that's his whole thing. He's like, I am phenomenal. Becomes a superstar over in Japan, and then is basically able to get Vince McMahon to write a blank check for him because he's got that much buzz behind him. So then he comes out of the Royal Rumble last year, not the one that you came over to watch this year, but he comes out as a surprise entrant. And me, not really watching Japanese stuff or any of the other big federations here, I have no idea who he is, but the entire crowd is just going nuts, and I'm like, oh, he must be pretty big.
Who's this guy?
And now a year and a half later, almost, he's one of my favorite guys on the show. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so moving on. That's enough wrestling talk, because this is a Laserdisc podcast, not a wrestling podcast.
I don't know. I think eventually you might do your own wrestling podcast.
It's going to happen. I just need to figure out what the format's going to be. Because
last week on wrestling,
because I don't want to do one of those, because there's so many wrestling podcasts out there, and most of them are just here's what happened on Raw, here's what happened on SmackDown. Hey, there was a pay-per-view too. Here's what happened on that pay-per-view. Not to knock any of those guys. There's a couple of them that I listen to that I fucking love. Tights and Fights. Check them out if you like wrestling. Or the What Culture guys. They're great.
Hashtag not a plug.
Not a plug. They do not pay me at all. It'd be great.
Hey guys, how you doing?
All 5 of my listeners here, go check them out. They'll notice.
Got a little uptick.
Yeah. And then the final Laserdisc from my birthday haul was a gift from myself to myself. It was a childhood classic of mine. A lot of classics on this episode, but movie that I grew up with, one of Tim Burton's first Hollywood movies. Actually, I think it is his first like feature film, and Paul Rubin's first feature film, or at least starring role. I didn't actually check his IMDb before doing this episode, but it is Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the movie that kickstarted the franchise.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is actually the Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Well, technically not the first. It's not the first appearance of the character, but it was Pee-wee's Big Adventure, then Pee-wee's Playhouse, then Big Top Pee-wee, and then now Pee-wee's Big Holiday. So Paul Rubens in the 80s. Let's do history this entire episode. Paul Rubens in the 80s tried out for Saturday Night Live. He used this character, Pee-wee, to do it. As many of you probably know, he did not make it onto Saturday Night Live.
Right.
But was able to turn the character into a live show that he performed in New York called what was it called? It was similar to Pee-wee's Playhouse, but it wasn't the same verbiage. It was a little bit more of an adult show.
Okay.
A lot more tongue-in-cheek humor. You can find it online. It was distributed by HBO actually, so you might be able to find it on HBO Go. But just look for Pee-wee. But yeah, it's a stage show, basically the same concept as Pee-wee's Playhouse, but like I said, a little bit more adult. There's a scene where he puts mirrors on his shoes so he can look up Miss Yvonne's skirt.
Oh my.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's not this. From that, he was able to get a movie deal to use the character, but not the same story at all. This story follows him going across the country trying to find his stolen bike that he should have just done a better job beating up Francis to find, because in the end, spoilers, not even in the end, in the first end of the first act, Francis was in fact the one who stole the bike. So not really a spoiler, because like I said, it happens in the first act. Here's a spoiler. There's no basement to the Alamo.
What?
Yeah.
What? There's not a pool down there?
No. Adobe. Watch the movie. You'll get it. But when he's touring the Alamo, the tour guide is showing them how Mexican people make adobe. And she's like, can everyone say that with me? Adobe.
Okay,
in a very thick Texas accent.
Thank you for explaining that. I was a little weirded out for a moment.
Have you not seen the movie?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen anything Pee-wee related.
I have you can't see it because it's behind the Superman poster over there, but I have a box set of VHSs of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, I think I do remember seeing that.
This one, just like the other two, I might not have mentioned it on the Legend of White Tiger, but this one also CLV quality, 1 disc, 2 sides. I don't even think it's widescreen either. Probably not. I don't think any of these are widescreen.
If it's advertising stereo, I don't know. Maybe
these all advertised stereo, sir. At the time, it was very common for everything to be mono, so they're advertising stereo.
Okay, fair enough.
Like most of the Laserdiscs, if you look, it at least goes stereo sound somewhere.
I like it how you just did that in the Pee-wee voice.
Yeah. I'm trying to use... Oh, that's a terrible Pee-wee. But at one point in the movie, he yells, I'm trying to use the phone. Yeah. And it used to be like the only thing that I would say in Pee-wee's voice because I had it down pat. But I don't feel like yelling right now.
Well, you got the mics for it.
I do.
You don't want
to. The only way I can do the impression is by yelling.
Okay.
And I don't feel like doing it.
You don't feel like clipping
No.
audio.
So we got. So that's it for my birthday haul. We got a little bit of time. Ken, I know you brought some Laserdiscs with you today.
I did. And these are kind of scattered. I didn't have a birthday, unfortunately.
Yeah, no real theme to it, just kind of potpourri.
A little potpourri, yeah. I mean, you have a little potpourri from now and then.
A little poopery, if I may.
At the end of the day, like, we don't go sit on eBay like buying specific ones.
No.
Like, it's whatever comes up.
Every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I need to buy all 3 Die Hard movies.
Or Highlander.
Or 2 Highlander movies, which was a terrible mistake.
Oh. Have you watched them? Well,
I did. The whole episode was me talking about how terrible they were in.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, more like Lowlander, I believe, is the actual title of the episode.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's the catching up counterpart, where like the one that came out around the same time that I was watching them.
Gotcha. All right, well, I've got 3 here for us to peruse.
Mm-hmm.
First up is, I think you remember back when we were talking about a lot of comic book movies.
Yeah.
I had mentioned, hey, is there any other Dark Horse movies out there? Because it just seems interesting. Like, Dark Horse Entertainment, I think, was the production name.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what movie I pulled that from.
I'm racking my brain trying to remember. It was one of those ones where I didn't even know that it was a comic book movie, and you found out that it was from Dark Horse.
Mask.
Was it Mask?
It was a Mask.
No.
I think it was.
I did know that was a comic book movie, but I didn't know that it was Dark Horse.
Yes. But I remember reading on the back.
That's right. Yeah, you do have Mask on Laserdisc.
Because Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had mentioned that on the episode, and my friend Ann had pointed out, hey, Jerkface, there's more Dark Horse comic books out there, including this title, Tank Girl.
It's so good. I've read a little bit of the comics, if I may just jump in.
You can.
Because I have more knowledge of this movie than you do, because I remember seeing it when it came out and stuff like that.
I've only seen it once, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not a classic to go along with the theme of the movie.
Cult classic.
But what I'm saying is, like, it's not one of those movies that it's like, oh, you haven't seen it. Like, I'm more surprised that you haven't seen Pee-wee than I am that you've only seen Tank Girl once. But Tank Girl, I've read some of the comics. They're very cool, very, very edgy, very kind of grungy.
Yeah.
And the movie does a really good job, in my opinion, of trying to capture that same feel. And it's one of those movies that incorporates like actual stills from the comics, or they were specially drawn for the movie.
Well, yeah, like Scott Pilgrim did that when they contacted the original. Well, the original author was heavily involved in that.
Yeah. So like it's got a very kinetic style. And it's such a fun movie.
Yeah,
I say that a lot on catching up when we're talking about movies. But like it is legitimately a fun movie. Lori Petty is like perfect for the role of Tank Girl.
She's a great actress.
Who is Tank? I forget, or Jet, or whatever her counterpart.
The top billing credits is Lori Petty, Ice-T, Naomi Watts, and Malcolm McDowell.
Naomi Watts. She's great as Jet or Plane. Unfortunately, I forget what her name is. But much like how Tank Girl is kind of just it's like it's what she drives. She flies a jet. But yeah, so
wait, they have a cast list right here. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, and Malcolm McDowell, for better or for worse, will always be in my mind the bad guy from Tank Girl. Like, and people have tried to like get very upset about that. They're like, "What? Clockwork Orange, man?" And I'm like, "I didn't see Clockwork Orange until I was like 20, but I saw Tank Girl when it came out." Yeah, and you mentioned Ice-T is in it. He's great as one of the weird kangaroo dog men.
Yeah, he's listed as T-Saint.
Yeah. Also, Doug Jones in that movie as one of the. He probably a very minor credit.
No, okay.
Like Doug Jones usually is. But he also plays one of the mutant guys in the same band as TC, or as Ice-T. Is his character name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and Doug Jones, huge not friend because it's one-sided, but huge friend of of Geek Out. Every time we watch Batman Returns, we tweet at him because Batman Returns is his first feature film credit.
Aww.
He plays the clown that puts the bomb, or no, the not bomb. Is it the bomb? No, it's the control device on the Batmobile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Huh. Well, all right. But other than that,
Sorry, let's go back to Tank Girl.
let's go back to Tank Girl. But other than that, I mean, this is actually a pretty good-looking Laserdisc.
Yeah,
too.
and I see it's letterboxed.
Deluxe letterbox edition. And it also says features hot alternative soundtrack.
Yeah, because it was in the early 90s when it was really popular to be like, oh, we've got like Hole on the soundtrack. Or I don't know if it's Hole, but
in this case, it was Belly, Bjork, Bush,
Bjork,
sorry, Hole, Ice-T. Yep.
I knew Hole was on the
Joan
soundtrack.
Jett. Yeah, you got Joan Jett.
Yeah.
And Paul Westerberg. L7, Stomp, and Veruca Salt.
Veruca fucking Salt.
Oh, my God.
I love Veruca Salt.
Oh, you know it's hot because the soundtrack is available from Electrica.
Ooh. That's an alternative music thing.
Well, I knew it was hot because I didn't recognize it.
Probably because it got bought out by like Geffen or something like that.
Exactly.
5 years later. Assuming I don't actually know. That's one bit of history I don't know. What happened to Elektra Records?
Seriously, I thought you had everything at your fingertips there.
No, I got Google.
Hey, Google.
Ugh.
Oh, you don't have your thing on. Hey, Alexa.
I will
Hey.
cut you. Oh, good. Now she's going to interrupt the show in a minute when she's like, I didn't. Yep. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but she responded.
Oh, I love technology. It's amazing. You can't find that skill, Alexa.
Oh, my God. I'm turning off your microphone. Okay.
I love technology. It's great.
Yeah, it's great when it
Hey, I
interrupts
wonder
the
if we
show.
set off anybody else's Alexa. Okay, Google.
If
Siri.
If we turned on any of your devices, tweet at us. You can tweet, what is it, Geek Out Pod or Geek Out Podcast?
Hashtag those LaserDicks.
Yeah, right? Big old LaserDicks.
Big old floppy. Just
Ugh.
hanging out.
Ugh.
All right. Well, in any case, it's a good movie. And it's standard extended play.
Yeah, it's at Geek Out Podcast. If we turned on your personal assistant app or
if
whatever,
we turned you on,
hey, tweet at us.
talking about big floppy dicks.
Hashtag those laser dicks.
Oh man! All right. Well, that's a great movie. I threw it off to the side. Hopefully, it didn't get ruined. All right. What else we got here?
If it hasn't been ruined by now, with just years of being in existence, I'm sure tossing it over on top of my dirty clothes will be fine.
Oh, way to ruin the magic, Chris. Seriously.
Oh, the real magic is that's not my dirty clothes.
Oh, gross. Oh, is it clean?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was worse than dirty. All right, let's move along. Hey, look, it's Cinderella. It's wholesome. Wholesome entertainment. Here we go. I wanted to hunt this down because this is the Cinderella movie that aired on TV. Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella. And I thought it was pretty neat to have. I remember watching it on TV when I was growing up, and like I thought it was a shame that we didn't have this in physical media. Like I only saw it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw that this was on Laserdisc, I had to have it. I had to have it.
Who is it that's in that movie?
Brandy.
Oh yeah, that's the Brandy Cinderella.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Oldberg.
I didn't mean to call her out. And Whitney Houston.
Oh,
Whitney Houston, and it's all done by Disney. So this is a pretty cool,
pretty legit
movie. I mean, the cover's great. And I did. And Jason, was this Jason Alexander, the guy from Seinfeld?
Yes. Oh, there's no disc in this. It freaked me out because it's very floppy, and I was like, "Oh no, I broke the disc."
Big old floppy laser.
Big old floppy laser dicks. Yes, that's Jason Alexander.
Okay, cool. Because he has
his name is not in the credits. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No, I read on the front.
Yeah.
I read on the front. Yeah, I read on the front.
Yeah.
But no, he's got a.
I was like, why is his picture on this, and yet he gets no credit?
But no, I popped this in and watched about half of it, and like he has a really cool scene in it. I totally forgot that he was in it. I knew Brandy. I remember Brandy Whoopi Goldberg because this was like kind of advertised as the multicultural Cinderella, which is awesome for the time. Like, when did this come out? I think it was like
mid-90s.
Yeah, mid-90s. I don't see. Well, that's unfortunate.
Okay.
Well, it came out.
Hey Alexa, when did?
It's red.
She's
now.
off. Yeah, she's not listening.
The Red Ring of Death. But yeah, no, like I remember watching this, and I had a good time as a kid. I figured it'd be a good time to watch it today, and all the actors are really great in this. I mean, I really had a good old time. Let me see anything else in particular. Pop sensation Brandy from TV's Moesha,
1997.
Ooh, nice. Then we got Wendy.
Cinderella Brandy chafes under the cruelty of her wicked stepmother.
That's a bad.
Bernadette Peters.
That's a bad term. Bad verb.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of chafed or chafes in that. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I did want to point out this too. Besides just the random credits on the back, you must visit http://www.disneyvideos.com on the internet. To check this movie out. This was back in
no
the day.
HTTPS?
No, it wasn't. It was not secure back in the day. So that was a good movie. And I'm just toss it off to the side. Don't need to bother with this anymore. Finally, my 3 that I'm going to round out here. I got this as a wonderful gift from my wonderful girlfriend. She's a big fan of Hugh Grant, and I heard what you did. I didn't even have to hear, but I knew what you did, saying things in the background. But she's a big fan of Hugh Grant, and I thought, hey, what better way to kind of get her into the world of Laserdiscs?
But also Laserdicks.
Sleep of the tongue. But then getting her this movie that I hadn't heard before, she hadn't heard before, Hugh Grant and Alan Rickman's in it, and it's called An Awfully Big Adventure. And
I also have not heard of it.
I mean, from the reading,
but it sounds awfully fun.
I thought you were going to end that. But
it sounds awful.
But no, Awfully Big Adventure. That's a reference to Peter Pan. So it's a production of Peter Pan that they're putting on these characters, and our female lead is, interested in Alan Rickman and Hugh Grant, the wonderful people. I think Hugh Grant is the star, the Dick star. And he's meaning that he's a jerk. He's a jerk.
I was like, Dick Star? What's that supposed to mean?
It's a special.
Gotcha.
It's a special musical. But
just his dick is the star.
But then Alan Rickman, he's the director. So it's all about how she has a crush on these two. Ooh, to her first sexual encounter. So of course he's the Dick Star. So yes, he is a Dick Star. But yeah, it's a fun little movie, and I thought it'd be cool to get that because young Hugh Grant, that turns heads right there.
Yeah.
Does it turn your head, sir?
Yeah.
He's attractive.
I'm more of an Alan Rickman kind of girl.
Oh, going for the moldies.
Moldies?
Oldies. Either way, somebody will think you're up to something.
That's why I like Galaxy Quest so much. That, and also it's a great movie.
I did appreciate that movie, and got me to see it once. It was great.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's my
Unfortunately, if I remember correctly, because I looked for it, too recent to be a Laserdisc. Because I thought that would be a perfect addition to a Laserdisc collection.
It'll go right next to that Captain's First collection that I got.
Yeah.
I remember. I always remember. But those are my 3. I mean, one I haven't seen. Yeah, I don't know too much about Awfully Big Adventure. I would love to watch that sometime. And then Tank Girl, fun movie. I've only seen it once. And Cinderella, I only saw when I was a kid, but I'm rewatching it, and it is great.
Ooh, no, it's not too recent. Well,
what?
Galaxy Quest came out in 99.
Oh.
But that doesn't guarantee that it was on Laserdisc, because that was when it was on the way out.
Quick, I'll stall for time. Look it on eBay. So anyway, guys, I guess we'll check you out next week because that's the end of my stack, and I'm gonna have to buy more Laserdiscs. So maybe if you find Galaxy Quest, I'll know I'm on the hunt for, always on the hunt for more Evangelion anime Laserdisc. I want to complete my collection sometime.
Mm-hmm.
I only got the 2. Eventually, I want to get those books that you can like collect every single one.
Oh yeah, no, those are awesome.
Oh man, You're looking. But unfortunately, the one that I have my eye on, it's $30, which isn't bad. But then it's like $20 shipping, and it's like, I'm not about to spend $50 on this.
Yeah,
not at all. Any luck?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Damn. Well, that would have been cool. We could burn our own.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure. Just got to get this set. But wait. Let's plug that dude, that guy that we found that's doing those fake lasers.
You mean fake laser?
Yeah, the guy, fake laser.
On Instagram, is it fake laser
_ laser?
I'm gonna stall for time.
Well, this man's amazing because
Vamp.
he does
Describe him.
Stretch it out. That he does these fake LaserDisc covers that I've saw on Tumblr. Found out that he has an Instagram and he loves making these fake covers and then taking pictures of like old VHS covers. He's got like the entire Japanese Friday the 13th set. It looks real good. But
yeah, so kind of like what you and I did last year, where we made an actual physical copy of the Deadpool LaserDisc.
Exactly.
And then I made a Ranger Danger and the Danger Rangers LaserDisc because I know it'll never happen. And also a Dogma LaserDisc because it's the first View Askew or Kevin Smith movie that was ever released not on LaserDisc.
Yep.
Found it, by the way. It is on Instagram. It is at Fake Lasers.
Oh,
with an S. Not I was just emphasizing the fact that there's an S at the end, not trying to make it sound like it was a Z.
What a way to go! I was confused for a half second there.
Yup. But yeah, it's fun. I recently tagged him in a post because I took a picture of those LaserDiscs that we made. He has not liked it yet.
What a jerk! Well, you should check him out anyway. Check him out anyways.
Yeah, but no, check him out. He's pretty cool. Why not plug other people that like LaserDiscs?
I mean, heck, I'll plug the Upside Down Turtle dude that you follow.
Yeah. Oh no, I love his LaserDisc Turtle.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's great. I think he recently got married, so he hasn't been posting much recently. So I guess congratulations to him. And by recently, I think I mean like 6 months ago. But he's still, he's still catching up on life. He's doing stuff, but he, every once in a while he gets a chance to tweet. He's a fun guy. LaserDisc Turtle.
At LaserDisc Turtle.
Yeah,
nice.
I think.
All right. Well, we should probably sign off because, I mean, we stretched far enough.
Yeah.
We stretched the maximum content possible.
Yeah, I think until next time, enjoy your LaserDiscs and your LaserDicks.
I'm going to lose it every time you say it in that context now. Anyways.
Title of the show.
LaserDicks. Floppy.
This has been another Geek Out production. If you enjoyed what you heard, hey, we've got a new commentary every Monday. We've got a special episode every Friday. Of course, there's the usual catching up show every Wednesday. And you get book club episodes just about every Tuesday these days. Thanks for listening.